We used to be able to take a cup and drink right from the water. Now, if you take a cup, that same cup, and drink today from this water, you'd get sick.
Robert Spence is a band counselor from Tataskweyak Cree Nation, a remote community more than 900 kilometers north of Winnipeg, Manitoba. Tataskweyak is one of more than 40 First Nations in the riding of Churchill-Kiwatinuk-Aski, one of the country's largest ridings, covering almost half of the province. The chief and council reluctantly decided to put up 8 no-swimming signs on the reserve, warning of E. coli, and they are worried about the drinking water they pump from that same lake.
It's something that should never have happened. Why? The issues that we have in the north with our water are not being addressed. Justin Trudeau lied to the people when he said he would come up and give us more safe, reliable drinking water. How long has it been? Look at this. How many other communities are in the same way? How many other First Nations has he lied to? Canada, in my opinion, is not doing right by the Native people.
So we're driving down Highway 280, which we were told was once voted the most unsafe highway in Manitoba. The roads here, we were told, if it gets too rainy, they'll turn to soup. What is happening here?
Is there anyone there?
Let's check. Holy f***. Hello? Oh, here comes a truck. How you doing? We were just driving by and saw that, so.
Anybody in it?
That's not as far as I can tell.
If he got out of it alive, he's lucky.
Yeah? I haven't gotten any reception on my phone.
I've got it.
Yeah? So that was obviously a bit of a scary situation there. We didn't see anybody. I was chatting with a gentleman from Stitco Energy, and he said he's been driving down these roads and he's not seen anything quite like that. Seen some wrecks, of course. He's called it in to the RCMP and his dispatch, and so we're gonna head on down because we didn't see anything and hope that everything's okay.
You see from when you traveled in on the highway here, the conditions of the roads leaving Winnipeg up until you get here, they deteriorate pretty quickly. We had to go out of our own way and go out and set up 2 separate blockades, 2 different years, to get Manitoba Hydro and Minister of Infrastructure and Transportation to address the issue with the road. Semis were getting stuck on the road. Tractors were getting stuck on the road. SUVs, medical vans are breaking down. It's as if we're pulling teeth each time we do it. When all forms of communication breaks down and the politicians don't listen, that's when the people stand up and say enough.
The 2,300 or so people on reserve are speaking up again, this time about the long-term boil water advisory, which has been in place since May of 2018. The Liberal government promised all boil water advisories would be lifted by March 2021.
This is the toilet bowl of the north. So the process by which the lake and the rivers are able to filter themselves is gone because of the amount of silt, sedimentation, and the debris and the garbage that flows down from the development that happened.
We asked Indigenous Services Canada to clarify the details of the boil water advisory here. They say their ongoing testing indicates the drinking water is safe to consume. The Band Council, the local government on reserve, doesn't trust that conclusion after testing the pre-treated lake water. They want a new treatment plant and a new source of clean drinking water.
We had our local resource programs, go and test the water, and we found positive chemicals, one being E. coli. And we've been seeing a lot of our members, being sick, in regards to drinking the water. Like right now, our fishery's been very impacted. They can't really fish because the fish are no good. The water is, so dirty.
I know the Liberals have put billions to try to improve Indigenous communities and improve the drinking water, and the advisories have gone down, but obviously not here. And they say, be patient. We're working on it. It's going to take time. What's your reaction to that?
We're dying off. Are they waiting for all of us to die off first? Is that the solution to their Indian problem? These politicians in Ottawa, they don't give a shit about us over here. I can't hold my breath for any politician to come up and say, okay, let's do something.
It's shocking. This is Canada. It's 2019. This is one of the richest countries in the world. And yet people, and the First Peoples in this case, don't have access to clean drinking water. This is, it's a failure of the federal government.
Nikki Ashton has been the MP in this riding for just over a decade. She says she fights for justice for Indigenous people back in Ottawa, where we spoke to her. This election, however, she will have competition for her seat from two Indigenous candidates who've lived with the realities of water issues in the North firsthand.
4 weeks after I had my daughter, it was very hard. Cooking, everything, couldn't brush our teeth. There's absolutely no water, and it wasn't even coming through our pipes. In order for Canadians to understand that, I would challenge them to go without water for one day, because it's amazing how many times you reach for that tap and expect it to come out, and it doesn't come out.
It's so refreshing to see that many of the boil water advisories have been lifted. There is still a lot of work to be done. It's going to take a lot. There's been 150 years of colonization. Manitoba alone saw $2.2 billion from the federal Liberal government to our First Nation communities, and that kind of infrastructure has been unheard of until Justin Trudeau and his team.
Well, the question is, where are the billions going? The reality is that people's lives on the ground, on reserve, in First Nations in northern Manitoba aren't changing.
Living that and living on reserve, I'm seeing a lot of these issues with drinking water, housing. Even our firefighting resources are lacking. If one of our houses goes up, that's it for us. We don't have any cell service out there. Our internet cuts in and out. Our home phones don't work sometimes. So there's really a lot, and I could sit here all day and talk about it.
I believe in my people. I have hope for my people. I've been through the issues. I'm from here. If somebody doesn't take up the helm that truly values the people, then we're going to be stuck in the status quo forever, and the status quo must go.
Water is at the top of the list of the many urgent changes for people on reserve. Some are holding on to their traditional methods of accessing fresh drinking water.
These water pails you see here, that's where we haul our water from. We go get it at the Asian Lake.
Jennifer Lett and her husband Joseph say ever since they first got running water in 1990, they have refused to drink from the tap. They drive 2 hours to Thompson almost once a week to buy cheaper bottled water. That's in addition to the 3 to 5 pails of fresh water that they fetch at least twice weekly from a neighboring lake.
Kind of heavy. It's more clear than the water down there.
And I see you've got lots of bottled water too.
Oh yeah. But the tap water is only for laundry and house chores. It's clear though, but it just doesn't taste right. You know, it tastes just kind of moldy or whatever. Chlorine. It's not good to drink. To us anyway, but some people on the reserve still drink it.
We have no choice but to drink our water. Our water is contaminated, and I can't afford no water bottles. Northern charges way too high on water too.
Resident Lorraine Beardy Spence says she can't afford the prices of bottled water in the Northern store. It's a private company and the closest place to purchase goods without leaving the reserve. A 24-pack of water bottles there costs a whopping $9. There is profound worry in this community on the impact the water quality will have on future generations.
Even my boys don't want to drink that water, my grandchildren, because they survive out on the land. They're hunters and they're trappers too.
Emotional. Well, we need a new water treatment plant for sure. And we need free water from hydro. We need a swimming pool for the kids. I think that would bring a lot of healing in us people to it.
The water treatment plant was updated with new equipment in January 2019. Only 2/3 of homes on reserve are connected to it by pipe. The plant manager, James Wavy, says he believes that once the water runs through the treatment plant, it's safe to drink. But council and residents don't trust the treatment plant has the capacity to filter out contaminants. So you tested it recently, it does have E. coli, right?
Yeah.
So yeah, but you're saying if you filter it through, it's okay through the plant?
Yeah.
So from your perspective, the water is okay?
It was okay in the first place.
Yeah.
I'll put it to you this way. We just got a new lagoon built, right? There's 5 cells in it, right? Okay, the engineer said by the time they dump the sewage into the first cell and it reaches the 5th cell, it will be safe enough to drink. Will you go drink the water from that 5th cell? We're all drinking recycled shit water. Do you want to drink that, knowing full well what's in this shit?
So it's more a, they don't trust the
They don't
system.
trust.
Change. That's really what the community members of Tataskweyak say they want. Some here have lived through residential schools. They worry about drugs and violence in their community, and they feel constant lack of action from the government. Generations of frustration have added up to a deeply rooted distrust. And that distrust flows right through their taps.
The Trudeau government and basically all the parties, there's a lot of talk about reconciliation, and I'm curious what reconciliation looks like from your perspective.
Well, for us, it's just another word. The further north you are, as a First Nation, you're basically in a position of being neglected, in a position of being forgotten, and in a position of being not supported. So that's basically where we stand, in our community of Tataskweyak.